story about two people on an extreme rock extraction quest. Now I know what you're thinking, and no, the rock is not trapped in dangerous territory. This is instead the tale of a harrowing journey of removing several tons of landscaping rock from our front yard. Real quick introductions before the fun begins. I'm Ella and that's Joe, and while we both sport some impressive mustaches at times, you can tell us apart by remembering that he is very tall and I am not. Joe bought this house last year, and curiously, one of the things we initially loved about it was the landscaping, even though our goal now seems to be completely redoing it. But c'est la vie. I think it's important to note how the view started last year. The previous owners of this home loathed mowing the grass, and their remedy for that was to simply drop a borderline absurd amount of rocks right into the yard. A genius hack, really, if you too detest grass. So we only had time enough last year to rectify that single patch of rock and plant grass, which has since filled in quite nicely. This year, we're officially taking on the outlining beds, which harbor a dazzling combination of large stones and seemingly endless layers of smaller river rocks. Fueled entirely by the naive thought that we could finish this project in just a couple days, we began by tossing the large rocks into buckets, one rock at a time. We also tried, to no avail, making friends with some attack ants, understandably angry at their home being uprooted. Shout out to Lowe's and Home Depot for their 5-gallon buckets that we genuinely believed would be enough to store our removed rocks, even as we daily kept acquiring more and more. More rocks, more buckets for the rocks. I believe it was once we accumulated about 40 buckets that we finally relented we'd need an actual storage method. So, enter stage left, Joe and his magnificent engineering mind, which will ultimately be a crucial component to the success of this entire project, as you will later discover. Even beyond his dashing good looks, Joe's problem-solving skills are unparalleled. As soon as something requires math, I'm out. But this rock-holding receptacle was merely the amuse-bouche, if you will, to keep Joe invested in this project. You just have to wait and see the incredible piece of machinery he came up with next. Of course, even upon putting together the first rock bin, we thought, probably 2 at most. Well, 2, of course, would turn into 7. But again, the thrill of the build is enough to sustain Joe's enthusiasm.
Don't go in this part.
Why?
I don't know what I'm doing. How much string do you think I need?
I don't know, but you better make it look pretty.
Definitely wear gloves for this.
Days turned into weeks, and it felt like the rocks were somehow multiplying in the ground. They say people are generally motivated away from pain or towards pleasure, and for us at this stage, our incentive to power through was solely from the yard looking so disappointingly ugly. You could say it hit rock bottom. Har har. Kudos to our neighbors for putting up with it for a while. And then, every so often, a glimmer of hope would appear when we could see our tangible progress, and slowly, things started looking a little crisper. That, then, is what kept us going. Hi. You're pretty cute. Also, hard as this project has been, working and spending the time together on it has really been incredibly fun for us. Beautiful. As a quirky, fun side project on a day where it was too rainy to do real work, Joe proposed that we make a scraps-only creature, because some of the pieces we had left over kind of looked like dinosaur spikes. Obviously, that was the most fantastic idea I'd ever heard, so we used our extra screws, scrap wood pieces, and leftover spray paint we just had lying around and constructed this positively marvelous pet. His name is Mulch, and he is our rock receptacle guardian. I don't think anybody was more excited about our project, though, than the Robins, who suddenly had access to the best worm buffet in town. Finally, the majority of the large rocks were out of the beds, and we were left with an abundance of gravel and pea-sized river rock playing hide-and-seek in the dirt. It would be one thing if it was a single layer of rock sitting on top of the ground, but this turned out to be about 4 inches of rock layered into the soil. It would have been a waste to dig it all up, dirt with rock, and impossible to store or get rid of the duo. So we needed to figure out a way to separate them. Here again comes Joe's engineering brilliance, because yeah, we could buy a rock sifter, but where's the fun in that? A lot of meticulous mathing and mapping out a plan, and several Home Depot trips later.
Oh, do it. Whoa! That looks so slick.
Work began on our very own Trommel. He found a cheap bicycle on Craigslist so we could repurpose the wheels on either end, attached half-inch wire mesh with zip ties, built a frame, and after quite a few trial and errors, a Trommel was born. Please enjoy some of the footage from that process.
I'm trying to show the difference between your work, all going in the same direction.
Yeah.
So nice.
My work. It's personality, it's pizzazz, and it'll do.
And why are we doing 5 feet?
I just wanted to be a little taller than you.
I can't wait to show you the face you just made.
I didn't make a face.
I have to. And the wheels are red, so obviously they're superior.
That makes them better.
Yeah. Okay. Honest to goodness, I think God is looking favorably upon you right now.
Why do you say that?
This little sunbeam. Look at it go! It's magnificent! That was brilliant.
So the extra work, worth it, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
the trommel, we were hand-sifting the rocks and the dirt, and despite the smiles on our faces here, it was a treacherous process. The trommel was a massive game changer. Joe ended up making a second piece for it that had a 1/4-inch mesh, so we would double sift the same tubs of dirt and ultimately got buckets of medium-sized river rock and pea gravel. We put the resulting dirt back into the bed, which super improved the overall look of what we were doing as we went along. We also ended up restructuring the paver rocks a bit to make the bed a little skinnier. We're planning on expanding the yard and bringing in some compost and mulch for the beds this coming weekend. I'm most excited to be planting a row of boxwoods along the driveway. We're completely rejuvenated to see the yard looking like this now and re-inspired to add some special touches to it. I keep asking myself why I'm making this video, and partially it's to document this ludicrous amount of work we've done. Something to show the doctors in the future why our backs are broken and the carpal tunnel has set in so heavy. But I think it's also because this project has had moments of feeling unbearably impossible. But we did it. We are doing it. Balancing Nike's "just do it" motto with taking care of ourselves and each other in the process, it's all figure-outable. And even though yard work is ultimately a mundane and universal experience, there are ways of finding little bits of magic in it. There's a lot left to do still, and we can't wait to show you the process as it unfolds.